It's a start in the green and now to hold on to those gains. So there you go. Straight off the bat, 23,540. The Nifty Bank at 52.20. The Sensex at 77,650. Mid-cap index starting about 0.5% higher as well. Almost immediately, there is a bit of a a sell-off which is ensued. But this is very early. We'll see if there is some general lift after all the selling which has happened lately, which has come through. So blinking red and green, 20 higher, 22. So started 60, 70 higher, went into the red and back up about 30, 35 points. So 23,564 is where the Nifty is now starting at. Advanced decline is positive, although it's still very early. The Nifty heat map has come into view, and I think you've got about 18, 20 names in the red. Some are still starting up, but I think there is more up than down, at least in the first minute of the open. So 55 points higher on the Nifty.
Well, a few stocks that are in focus. Muthoot Finance have gone ahead and they've upped their gold guidance to 25%, growth guidance to 25% from 15%. That was one of the stocks of the day that we mentioned earlier today in our morning chat. And the other one is the aluminium players. Nalco is firing away, Vedanta is firing away, as well as Hindalco is higher in today's trading session. That's because their export rebate tax that earlier the Chinese producers were eligible for, that'll be done away with from December 1st, 2024. And on the back of that, all these stocks are firing away in today's trading session. On the flip side, IGL, Gujarat Gas, both of them slammed back. IGL is down close to around 10%. Manappuram on the flip side, well, that's down close to around 2%. But Mangalam told us earlier today, the stock to watch on the downside is Honasa. And that one, that's closed, 20% down. Mangalam, take it away.
Locked in lower circuit, three-pronged problems for Honasa, distribution-related issues, the core brand not doing too well. At the same time, the consumer sentiment on the whole is fairly weak. So for the next few quarters, maybe people would put their call on Honasa at bay, and as a result of which there is a bit of a seller's, buyer strike on Honasa or a seller's circuit. On the way up, however, we are seeing decent traction on, names like Brainbees, which had reported a good set of performance as well. So Brainbees opened well. Then you have, a bunch of these stocks doing fairly well. Crompton Consumer. Upasana did tell us that the results were good. We spoke to the management as well. They're speaking about a better outlook for the second half. Is among the top F&O gainers with a gain of almost 5.5%. On the back of Crompton and good performance coming in from some of their acquisitions, Butterfly for that matter, that stock too is holding with gains of about 2% odd. The stocks which are not doing particularly well have to be the city gas distributors and a couple of these others as well. We have Deepak Nitrite, which is lower, Strides Pharma, Alembic Pharma down almost 2.5%, but it's largely news driven. Stocks which have decent news backing them are seeing good traction. Sudarshan also told us that Hero MotoCorp reported good numbers, fairly optimistic commentary coming in the conference call as well. That stock up around 4% on the back of good numbers that we've seen. We saw Eicher Motors be the top Nifty gainer in the previous trading session, Thursday that was, and now today we have Hero MotoCorp. So aluminum stocks, Hero MotoCorp among the top Nifty gainers, and we have the top losers in the form of city gas distributors and Honasa, which stands out with a 20% lower circuit.
Absolutely, and the market's it's unchanged. I mean, nothing on it. 1 point change after the first couple of minutes of trade. 23,540 is where we are trading at. So we are, I think, still around the 200-day moving average, almost exactly at the 200-day moving average as we begin and get going with this session. Suzlon is up 5%. I mean, Suzlon, just a complete brutal sell-off, right? I mean, the low on Wednesday was about 53. It's come back to almost 60 rupees now. So keep an eye out on that one. We mentioned Hero. Hero had sold off to about 44.60. It's come back to about 47.90 or so. So some of these names have, been sold and how. Maybe look at HAL as well. HAL is starting about 3.5% higher. The recent low was about 3,900, back close to about 4,300 now. Nigel, of course, has been highlighting Nalco. Nalco is up, is the biggest volume-led gainer, by the way, 5.5% higher on Nalco. I think we mentioned Muthoot Finance, and you'll hear from the management in just a bit from now. Stocks up 5%, so 1864. I think the recent high was closer to about 2,100. Stock fell to about 1,750 or so, and about 1,850, 1,860 right now. So these are, basically reversals, turnarounds. whatever you want to call it. But we've seen a fair bit of activity and movement in the last few sessions. The big loser is, of course, biggest volume-led loser is IGL with a 10%, I think, limit down 10%. So 365. PNB Housing got that. There was that big block which happened. It's down another 6.5 actually. 845 on PNB Housing. Akim's drug sort of just hasn't stopped falling. I remember speaking with the management early last week after results. It's a recent listing. And stocks at about 553. It's fallen below what it came to the market at. MGL is down another 10%. I mean, and of course, Mangalam pointed out Honasa, which is seeing absolutely no bids at this point. We're back down about 40 points, 23,493. Just under 23,500 is where we are now trading at. Mihir,